good. And maybe, no, can I do that? I'll throw it up on Facebook too. Okay. Hello again. Somebody talk to me in the chat so I can see how this latency thing is working. One thing it said about latency was that the lower the latency, hey, Tanya, the lower the latency, or the higher the latency, the better the image quality. So I guess I'll have to give up a little bit of image quality to have a more a chat that's more out in real time. Let me see if I can hear it. Let's see how off it is. Damn, it's still pretty off by quite a few seconds. But hey, what's up, Andrew? Oh, mute. Okay, it's only a few seconds off now, so that's a little better. Okay. Alright. How's it going out there? Okay, one sec, I'll be right back. Here, I'm gonna start painting. Oh, you like it? Thank you. I was thinking it'd be cool to have a third camera too for really tight close-ups, but you know, maybe for specific, if I'm doing lessons or something, because I'd have to be worried about switching cameras while I'm trying to paint and stuff. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I've just been painting this for my streaming, to test my streaming setup, Andrew. Just to have something to paint. And so now I think I've got it pretty much there, except for that latency thing. I mean, the latency's better for sure, but I could try another one at ultra low latency, but I don't know if it's going to affect the image quality too much. Get hung up on this. Okay, we got 9 concurrent viewers. Who's out there? Say hello so I can test this chat feature on YouTube. Chat at me. Chat at me, yo. They're dropping like flies. We're down to 8. No one wants to chat. Come on. Just give me a little chat. Hey, what's up, Steve? Yeah, I wanted to test out this latency issue I'm having on the chat, because it's kind of hard to talk to people when I'm like 10 seconds behind. So, hey, yeah, you must be up late. You're on the East Coast, right? Hey, Tanya, are you there? If you're there, Tanya, let me know if the video quality looks like it's not as good as it was before. Oh, you're Central Time, okay. Still pretty late. So it's like 12:30 for you, right? Cool, thanks. Just a demo piece I've been using while I do streaming tests. And I think I finally got the streaming figured out. Oh, good. Okay, video's clear there. I had to change some settings so that the chat was synced up to where I could talk to people and it wasn't like a huge delay. And it says that it might affect the video quality. So if it looks good to you, that's good. But I was asking Tanya just because she was on the last stream, so she could compare the two. But if you don't notice any, bad quality, that's good. Anyway, I've been painting this piece so that I could test out my whole streaming setup, and I think I finally have everything down that I need. I think I'm good. Oh, good. Hey, Jesse. Great. That's cool. So I'll have to try ultra low latency rate then next time. Cool, thanks. Yeah, I don't know if you caught any of the first streams I did. I had the palette just right next to the easel, which kind of, I guess gave the same effect in a way, where you can see where the paint was. But I just went ahead and I bought this other little, kind of a cheap web camera, so that I could just have that focused on the palette. And I don't know, it just seemed like a better way to do it. And as my setup gets better, I'll have a better camera on this palette also, and maybe get even a better camera for my mainstream, because there's a better camera. There is a better camera. But I can't complain because somebody bought me this camera, someone from Patreon, which is amazing. Amazing. Because it's in a cheap camera. But I could maybe, if I end up getting this really high-end camera, I could use that for my main, and then I could use the one I'm using for my main camera for the palette. Cool. Glad the audio sounds good. I'm just using this boom mic that came with the... Hey, what's up? Jorge, Dos Diablos is in the house. I'm definitely... Thank you. You can ask people that were on the stream earlier. I've been kept saying that I want to not be so, I don't know, I want to get a little weirder, and it's definitely been inspired by your weirdness of your work. Trying to get out of my comfort zone a little bit and get weirder. That was an awesome mural you painted, or that, I guess would you call it a mural? That's amazing. How did you swing that? I wouldn't even know how to go about painting something that big. It's crazy. Still trying to find this thing a bit. That's hilarious, Jorge. You had religious people yelling at you, huh? Yeah, Steve. This technique is called the mud palette technique, and it's like, you know, you're basically mixing all your colors together to get these kind of grayish colors, and focusing more on value, and value is the darks and the lights. So everything from black to white, and all the grays, levels of darkness or lightness in between, are called values. So with the mud palette, you can kind of just like use you can get crazy with the colors. As long as the value's right on your painting, it's still going to look right. And you end up getting some kind of cool variations of color that you might not normally if you were really strict about what colors you were using. Mud palette. Love the mud palette. It was actually kind of weird because I was doing this naturally when I first started painting because I didn't know what I was doing, and then I was reading up on, I'm always researching painting, and it's like, oh, there's a name for that. It's called the mud palette. That's what I've been doing all along, and I didn't even know. Yeah, me too. Thanks, Jorge. Great day. Gave a great speech. Hopefully things will chill out now. You got anybody on here don't not know Dos Diablos' work? If you don't, you should immediately go look it up. At what's your name on Instagram? At Dos Diablos. He's the man. Dos.diablos.dos. That's his Instagram. So check it out. If you haven't seen his work, it's amazing. And Tanya too. Tanya Pomales is awesome. She's been killing it lately. Sorry, I got a noisy chair. Okay. I need a new chair. Yeah, it's been great to see. Yeah, I'm just trying to fuck it up some more. I'm just, trying to, Tanya Pomales Fine Art, alright. Yeah. Yeah, check out Tanya's work too. Very bright colors. I don't believe she uses the mud palette. She's all about like pure color. Which is what that was how my dad was too. My dad was all about. Yeah, Steve does the cool, those cool, yeah, give out your website too. He does the gas mask logo wood deals, glow in the dark wood plaque things are awesome. Oh, anyway, I was saying, my dad, in the 70s and 80s, his work was he was using a lot of like browns and grays and more traditional kind of muted colors, and towards the end of his life he was just all about getting the colors as bright, high chroma as possible. So stuff's really bright. What's your stuff, Jesse? I don't think I've seen your stuff. Where's your stuff at? What's your Instagram or whatever social media you use? If you're there, if you can hear me. JG Art World. Cool. I'll check it out. Let me know when you get more stuff up, too. You know, I find that when I paint, it's like a painting doesn't really start to happen for me until I get a certain amount of paint on it. And I paint so thin, I have to like build it up. And then once I build it up to a certain level, everything becomes clear to me and I see where it needs to go. It's weird. I know it's like a shortcoming, because I know that if I started out more at the place where I end up being able to see it better, I'd probably get these paintings done faster. Maybe I'm not. Maybe it's about getting a certain level of darkness and then painting lighter into it or something. Yeah, it's true. It's just weird because I always kind of meander around and it's like, what am I doing? And then it finally gets to a point and it becomes easy, and it's about, you know, I don't know what it is, to be honest. Maybe it can't be helped. I mean, it's working for me anyway, so, but I'm always trying to increase my efficiency. Yes, there are two mouths. And thank you. It will become more clear as it goes along. Oh, cool. Right on, Sweden. My wife has Swedish ancestry. Swedish and German is what she is. I mean, she's American, but that's her bloodline. The other thing is the paint, as you paint, it starts to set up and get stiffer and it becomes easier to work with as time goes too, so that's kind of the other thing. Like all this washy, wet stuff I put down is gonna stiffen up as time goes. It'll be easier to paint into. Thank you. Yeah, it's been quite a journey. This thing has gone through a lot of changes. Yeah, liquid. Definitely liquid. I was just talking about that earlier. Right there, down here. Which I haven't been using it quite as much. Been doing a lot of like straight oil painting, but that's my go-to when I need a medium. Oh, we should zoom out a little bit so you can see that. Yep, 100%. I use Gamsol for my turpentine, which is like odorless. Yeah, definitely. I don't use a lot of it while I'm painting though, honestly. It's mostly, I use a little bit I guess, but if I need to thin the paint or whatever, I usually do that with liquid. But sometimes I'll do it with terps. Yeah, Tanya, I got paintings I've gotten painting layers to dry in like 30 minutes, you know, because the way I finish paintings, it's like, you know, I do a little work, finishing work, and then I let it dry. Usually, you know, normal circumstances it would be like drying overnight, and then, you know, I do that like over a week while I'm finishing the piece up, putting a little bit of time in, letting it dry overnight, and then, but because of deadlines, if it's a deadline for a show, I'll have to cram that, sometimes that week's period of time into a night. So I use the space heater trick, and I just do, you know, I've just learned how far I can push it with the space heater without warping the board. And yeah, or if it's like a hot, that's one good thing about living in California is like the hot weather. I can sometimes put a painting out in the sun and have it dry really fast, but that's another good reason to use aluminum panels. Is this one aluminum? No, this one's wood. But it's the great thing about the aluminum panels, man, you can get them so hot to dry your paintings and they won't warp the same way wood will. I mean, I haven't done extensive tests, but I know I've put it in heat that would have warped wood. Oh, you learned it from me. It works good, huh? My dad said he used to put his paintings in a hot car during the day to dry them. Panel or canvas. If it's a larger piece, I'll usually use canvas just because it's more convenient. But in general, lately I've been using those Aluma comp panels more. And I really, you know, it's weird. I like them. I like both painting surfaces equally, but for different reasons. So I'm constantly going back and forth. I'm not like all panel or all canvas. A drop of gam salt to your paint. Dose. Step away. Yeah, I'm still not at the place I want to be with this thing. It's just not there for me yet. It's driving me nuts. I mean, it looks alright, but it's just not there yet. Oh, really? Huh. Like a drop of Gamsol in your liquid. Like in your little thing of liquid. Huh. That's cool. I'll try that. I remember seeing, what's his name? My friend. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm just trying to get some inspiration here with some, I don't know, colors thrown around. Sean. Sean. Come on. Sean, the amazing tattoo artist who paints. Sean, come on. I have one of his paintings. I'm just blanking. Oh, thanks. Me Morp. I'll look him up on my phone. Which red? I got Sean Barber, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Sean Barber, he would, yeah, he is. Sean Barber would use Galkid medium, and he would dip like he would dip his brush in the Galkid, and then he would dip that in Gamsol, and then he would take that and mix it in with his paint, and he painted like super washy that way. Because I was painting with Gamvar for a while early on in my career when I was figuring my mediums out, and I liked it, and it kind of gave this really cool enamel-like finish on it, but it was drying too fast for me. It was like getting sticky while I was working on it throughout the day. So then I saw Sean was doing it with just this really washy, wet paint. That's a little more liquidy than I like to paint, though. But he sure knows how to do it. He's great, great painter. I don't know who you're saying that to, but if it's to me, thank you. Who are you, Memorp? Or you don't have to say if you don't want to. But I was wondering if I know you from Facebook or something. Oh, the reds. Okay. The reds, that's right. Reds are... What is this red? Is this, these are new reds I'm trying. Now the bright one, which is like, you know, looks like orange on the screen. It is orange pretty much, but it's orange molybdate. Orange molybdate. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's from Rublev. And I've been using it for my cadmium scarlet replacement. Oh, I just was wondering, what your real name was, and if I knew you or not. But I said you don't have to. You don't have to tell me if you'd rather remain anonymous. I just didn't know if I knew you from like social media or something. Yeah, Rublev paints are these really expensive, traditionally made paints that have no. They have no binder in them. They are linseed oil and pigment only. And almost every other type of paint, most colored paints have a binder in it. So these are like the best paints you can get, I think. And then the other red is just like a blue, like a bluer red. Oh yeah, yeah, Danny, I recognize your name. What's up? You can buy them at. Oh look. Okay, this is. I can't find it. Oh wait, yeah. Pyrrole red, M gram. Pyrrole red, and then my dark, my transparent red up here is permanent alizarin crimson. So I've been trying out these Rublev colors. They're pretty good. It's rublevcolors.com. RUBLEV. Yeah, get that Vasari raw umber. Yeah, RUBLEV.com is where you get the Rublev paints. Yeah, it's funny. Right after I sent you that, I was going off for so long and working with the. Yeah, no problem. I was working with the Vasari raw umber on everything, and then right after I sent you that sample, I started going back to burnt umber for my underpaintings for some reason. Like I was trying to get warmer undertones, and so I haven't been using it as much as I was for a while, but it makes really just amazing grays. Just mix it with white, and you get all these great grays. You don't have to use black, just Vasari cool raw umber and white. Yeah, definitely. Oh, your birthday, when's your birthday? 7 days? No way. My birthday's in 5 days. Mine is on the 12th. Yours the 15th. That's funny. I didn't know that. Fellow Scorpio. Ha! 31. I'm gonna be 53. 50 motherfucking 3. I like old age though. Except for the pain. It's way better. It really is. Oh wow, no way. That's awesome. Scorpio Club. I don't have. You mean like studies or like full size paintings? Oh no way! I didn't know that. Oh yeah, I remember you mentioned him. Wow, he's like my age. That's quite a stretch between kids. You must be the youngest and he's the oldest. Studies, okay, studies. I have a bunch of half-finished studies. The problem is I got these studies that I pre-sold like last year that I'm trying to get done. I mean, I could have done that for this for doing these tests, but I wanted to do something a little bit bigger because most of the stuff I'll be doing on here is going to be larger. But anyway, I have a bunch of studies that are like not, that are kind of halfway finished. And so what I was hoping to do, if I could get my shit together, is have some new studies for the holidays, to sell over the holidays. Somehow I'm going to do that in between commission work I owe, like Steve's. I got Steve's sculpture I got to finish painting. I got to start this big commission that's like 4 years late. It's a big one too. And she's been really patient with me, so I gotta get that started. But I'm also working on my book, which I can't. It's like once the graphic designer needs something, I have to kind of stop what I'm doing and give it to her so I get that fucking book done. Definitely by Christmas. It's gonna happen like, I know I keep saying like next week, but I swear to God I'm planning on doing it next week, put it that way. And what happened was, I keep getting hit with these deadlines with these tool posters. And then that, I ended up, especially this last time, I had this huge commission of doing a bunch of frames and frame corners. And, hanging in the man cave. So, yeah, around late November, early December, I'll try and have some stuff up. What was I saying? I don't even remember now. The Ominous Art of Lexi York. Hello. Yeah, it was like 100 frame corners of each, design. So it was like 300. It was insane. So I had to do that. I had to get that done because he was on a deadline. I was already late on a deadline for him for his first pickup. He comes down and picks stuff up instead of shipping because he's not that far. So I had to get that done, and then I had to put these all-nighters in to get that done, and then it completely screwed my sleeping schedule up, and I had to kind of get back to normal and clean my studio. So it's like I'm ready to do it now. So it's going to happen, Steve. Alex, what's up? All kinds of people are on. All right. Painting light. Yeah, I'm just trying to get all my outstanding work done. And I've got a bunch of studies that I have to do, like I said. Ugh. It's like I was spending this whole year trying to get out of this mess I got myself into, and it's like I got myself part of the way out of it, but I haven't got myself all the way out of it yet. Yeah, it'll be great. The only good thing is, the longer you have to wait, the more guilty I'm going to feel, and the better I'll paint it. That's what I tell people. So if you have to wait a long time, chances are I'm going to put more time and effort into it and make it a little bit extra special. Alright, this is starting to kind of get... Something's happening here. Something's happening. It's getting there. It's not there yet, but it's getting there. Yeah, it's really hard too. It's personally very difficult because, I feel bad. Like I feel like, oh man, I hate letting people down or taking too long on things. Really, I don't like it. People are very cool, and I appreciate it. People don't hassle me about it, which is great, but I still feel bad about it. All right, welcome aboard, Lexi York. I'm just testing my streaming setup for the massive amount of streams I'm going to do on my Patreon. Like, my idea is I'm going to be streaming if I have something on the easel, I'm just going to stream it whenever I work on it. At least that's the plan right now, and put it on Patreon. So, especially like this big portrait commission I got to do. I'll show you it. Let me go get it. I've got a printout of it. Be right back. Trying to see some kind of physical health. Well, I walked the dog. Hey, what's up? Sometimes I walk the dog, but lately, for the last like 3 or 4 months, my wife and I have been playing badminton of all things in the backyard, and that's really been good exercise. So this portrait. It's a 24 by 30 I gotta do. This is like, so it's like a likeness. It's a portrait of a collector. Hey Fred, what's up? And so that's gonna be the next big painting I'm starting. Like I said, it's a 24 by 30. I got an aluminum panel for that. I just need to finish sanding it because I wanted to gesso it some more and rough up the surface, and that will be just like so. So I'm going to stream that whole process on Patreon, and then I'm going to I'll have it up for people to you can watch it. You can be there live when it happens, or you can kind of go back to it and check it out later in all these over probably a month or something. And then I will take that video and I will time lapse it. I'll crunch it down into a time lapse video, and then I'll post that for the time lapse videos on my Patreon. So this is my plan, to basically be streaming all the time or often on Patreon. Sometimes I'll be able to chat, other times I'll just mention maybe, or make a little disclaimer on it that I'm not viewing the chat, and I'm just kind of like getting into it and just zoning out and painting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but man, those likeness portraits are not easy. Not for me, anyway. So it's like I kind of want to do the, I'm probably going to trace it onto the canvas so I can get all the proportions right and not have to worry about losing the likeness. The aluminum panel is, where did I get this from? It's Alumacomp. I think I got it from Trekell.com. And I don't know why I added another layer of gesso on it. I mean, it was so long ago that I can't remember my reason for it. Yeah, that's the thing. I can't play music because it'll get pulled. Unless it's my own music, and I don't want to sit and listen to my own music. Normally I got a movie going on, but it's, you know, it would be annoying for you probably if there was a movie in the background. But normally I'll have like a documentary playing or something. Or music. But I could, you know, I could put headphones on, have a movie going, or or have some music or a movie going in my headphones if I'm not going to be chatting. It's kind of cool though, with streaming. I've noticed that when I stream, when I live stream, I tend to get more of the painting done because it's a lot easier to go, oh, I'm going to take a break, oh, I'm going to go get something to eat, oh, blah blah blah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to check my email. But when I know people are sitting there watching, I feel obligated to be painting on this thing, so it kind of forces me to get more done than I would normally, which is cool. Thank you, Evan. Glad you could make it. I'm doing this to test my streaming software and out my setup, and finally got it. So if you want to see a lot of time streaming, you could join my Patreon. But otherwise, I might do like once a month for free or something on here. But I'm going to be doing a lot of streaming, I think. It's also a way to, you know, keep track of what I'm working on, like a visual diary for myself of the work, and not have to worry about switching a camera on and recording it and forgetting it's recording. It's kind of like it keeps a little, I mean, I can record too on my OBS software. Yeah, see, now it's getting somewhere. Something's beginning to happen. This piece is just a random painting for testing my streaming setup. So it's not for anything really. If it comes out, I think it's going to be pretty good. I might put it in the dystopia book maybe. I have time to photograph it. But I think someone wants to buy it. They might want to buy it when it's done if they like it, but if not, I'll probably put it in the web store for the holidays. Thanks, Fred. Fred is the Beksinski authority, man. Fred pulls out the most. He finds the Beksinski paintings that I had no idea existed. When I thought I'd seen them all, Fred posts another one. I don't know where you are finding these long lost Beksinski paintings. It's crazy. So if you like Beksinski, go friend Fred on Facebook. You search endlessly on the web. That's funny. That's great. I bet you have an awesome file. Do you have them? Do you have them all on Facebook, or do you kind of like hold on to them and dole them out every so often on Facebook? Yeah, it's so cool. It's like you're the only person that I know that has ever shown me paintings. It's like you become this Beksinski expert. And for those of you who don't know Beksinski, you don't know Beksinski. Just kidding. But if you don't know Beksinski, look him up because he's, one of the most amazing painters ever. Yeah, everybody should know Beksinski. Yeah, that's crazy. ZDI SLAW? Is that how you spell his first name? I think at one point I did know how to pronounce his first name. Yeah, there you go. Oh, ZDZISLAW. Of course Fred knows. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Because ZD, it's like a J sound. Yeah. Yeah, there are some amazing. That whole poster movement, Polish poster art is off the fucking hook. And Zedislaw. I think it's more like Zizla or something. Zizla? Zizla? Is that how you say it, Fred? And then it's Bekshinsky, right? B with a K. Bekshinsky. I've heard Bekshinsky, and then most people pronounce it Beksinski. But I think it's Bekshinsky. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. And you know who first turned me? Oh, that's cool. Evan, I gotta see that. I want to see that painting. The first person to turn me on to Bekshinsky was Adam Jones of Tool. I couldn't believe it when he showed me this Bekshinsky book. That doesn't help. Swab. Yeah. Jizlab. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, you know that Bekshinsky biopic probably has it in there. I'm sure it does. Jizlab. Yeah, that movie was pretty good. It was amazing. Crazy. So cool. I wish someone would make a documentary about him. Man, if I had money, I would 100% back a Bekshinsky documentary. Like, I would make it happen. I would love to see it. I want to see a Bekshinsky documentary, and I want to see a No Means No documentary. It's like, it's like a movie, a dramatization of his life, or his, not his adult life anyway. That's what a biopic is. It's good. It's all in Polish, so you gotta read subtitles, but it's really interesting. It's a trip. Weird to see. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've seen some of that home video footage. I want a documentary though. I want a documentary. 'Cause I love documentaries. Someone should have made one while he was alive. Yeah, terrible. It's crazy. Man, I remember when I first found out that he was murdered, like right when it happened. I found out like right after it happened. I forget who told me. Someone knew. after all the shit he went through, his wife had cancer, his wife, and then his son committed suicide. And he makes it through all that shit, and then he gets stabbed to death. Crazy. I bet you if Beksinski was alive, he'd be live streaming. He was all into technology. He was doing Photoshop stuff before it was cool, and I know. He wasn't painting though in the 90s or 2000s. He like stopped all his paintings and just did those Photoshop things, which were cool, but I mean, they're not like on the level of his paintings. The paintings were just, but it was awesome. He was doing that. I have seen a couple of Beksinski originals before. They're amazing. My boss, Rick Baker, the guy I worked for, he had one. He had like a pretty famous one too. And I went to the, yeah, they're big. They're like, I don't know, 30 by 40 inches or something. Well, some were probably 24 by, I don't know. I went to the gallery that used to rep him, Morpheus Gallery. We were in Beverly Hills. They had a physical gallery, and they had a bunch of Beksinskis in there, and they were amazing. I was surprised it's like they were all painted like, all the ones that they had there were painted like this. I'm gonna find a small brush here. It looked like everything was done with a little tiny brush like this, and it was all like cross hatching, all kinds of little cross hatching. It was kind of crazy. Just layers and layers of cross hatching. Amazing. Yeah, all in masonite. I paint. I try and paint every day, but I've got my business to run, so I have to do other stuff. But yeah, but I cannot. Yeah, Frazetta was huge for me too. I can't afford to only paint when I'm in the mood. It's like when you do it for a living, if you're not in the mood, then you just sit there and do it anyway until you get in the mood. And eventually you get in the mood. What do you mean with furniture bottoms? Yeah, I I I used to have that too, stockpile, but I kind of used all those ideas up. Yeah, it's great. I mean, I've got some still, but I used to have a bunch, but I think I painted most of them. Yeah, doodling's always the go-to. That's where most of my paintings start, is doodles. Oh, I loved it. Twin Peaks: The Return. I loved it. That was great. Um, I thought the Dougie stuff went on a little longer than I liked, but overall, it was. I thought it was amazing. Oh, huh. Supports for painting. Did I get pissed at Dougie? Uh, Shit. You know what? I need to watch the whole thing again. I think I've seen it. I watched it all the way through once, and I think I started watching it a second time. But I love David Lynch, so. Yeah, I got a sketchbook. I have a ton of sketchbooks. Too many sketchbooks. I like, I just do doodles and get ideas, but I don't know if you're not, if you're on Patreon, you gotta subscribe to Christopher Ulrich's Patreon. His sketchbooks are unbelievable. Like, his sketchbooks are works of art in themselves. I can't believe he's got so much, he gets so much work done. Shit. You know it's going to be a long time for another Tool album. But yeah, he's. I wish my sketchbooks were like his. His are amazing, but mine just like. I only doodle what I need for the painting. You know, I don't really put that much time into the doodles. I mean, I just don't have time for that. I don't know how he manages to find the time to do that. I don't know. I don't know if they're on a label or not. Cold cuts. What's up? That would be cool. I've never done this is the first painting I've done with a double smoker. That would be funny to have like a guy with like 6 cigarettes. Or five cigarettes might be good. Might be the way to go. Gotta do that. That'd be funny. People hate smoking so much nowadays. Yep. Always five. vape? I have not. Could happen. Could happen. I don't feel driven to do that though. Maybe. I don't know. That seems a little too trendy. And too modern. I don't like my stuff to look too modern. I like my stuff to be like in an alternate dimension in the 60s. That's kind of the way I see my stuff. Ooh, it's 9 a.m. It's like, damn, it's almost midnight. Okay, I gotta stop soon. Yeah, it's like midnight here. Almost. I'll be right back. Oh my god, 3 a.m. I got a Juul vape. I like it. It helped me quit, but then I started smoking again. So I gotta get back on the Juul. We should have your original for that first mask. Yeah, you're talking about the black magic painting. I mean, the collector who has it is a good friend of mine, and he's got probably the best collection of my stuff, so it's in a good place. It's just, you know, if I had held on to it, I could have probably sold it for 3 times what I sold it for initially, but, you know, I needed the money. I remember when I sold that thing too, it was like, oh, thank God I sold it, because I needed the money. Later, Fred. Good talking to you. Keep up the good Beksinski work. But as far as painting it again, you know, I've painted that character a couple times, but, you know, I don't, I mean, that's my favorite version of it still, and I've painted it a bunch. I've painted Black Magic, that character, a bunch of times. And I still, it's just, you know, it's like, it's not really about doing a better version of it. It's like, it's kind of all there. And it's just my favorite version of it, I guess. But, you know, it was inspired. It came just like as a flash in my mind, and it was the first time I painted him, and it's kind of the best one. So I think best version. But I'm definitely going to do some more paintings of him because he's in the book a lot. Newports. I used to smoke. Did I smoke Newports? I did smoke menthol for a while though. Oh, cool. Yeah, Ted's awesome. He's got a piece of mine, or a couple pieces, I think. 7-Eleven in Dystopia. Oh, cool. I'll have to check it after the feed ends. Later, Jesse. Thanks for coming on. You're on Patreon, right? So I'll probably see you again. Yeah, you have to be, because you were on the early streams I was doing. The Patreon only ones. Later, Tanya. Yeah, it's late. You need to go to sleep. I gotta go to sleep, and it's 3 hours earlier for me. But good talking to you. Same with Tanya. She's on the East Coast. It's midnight here. Almost. Thanks. Yeah, the red ended up being a weird impulsive thing I just threw on there on that head, and it ended up kind of working out. Yeah. The 5-cig smoker. That's what we can call him. Yeah, I like the hand-rolled cigarettes too. Because they could be joints, they could be tobacco cigarettes, you just don't know. You could reach me at my website's still being worked on, but chat at chatzar.com is my email. If you want to see what's going on all the time in my art world, you can join the Patreon for $1 a month at patreon.com/chatzar. At chatzar on Instagram. You could hit me up on there. But I'm really trying to get everything, driving everything to Patreon. I'm trying to make that my home base where all the shit happens. Red and green tips, what do you mean? Red and green cigarette cherries? It could be interesting. It depends on the size, and but you know they're like um, you know, if you, it's really based on the size. So if you go to coprogallery.com, they probably have some of my paintings up with prices from old shows. You can kind of judge, like, but you know, for something like this size, I usually charge for a finished painting with custom frame corners. I usually charge like 3,500 this year, I think. It goes up 10 to 20% a year usually. Right on. I've got a, I gotta get my book done before I can really get these commissions done before I can take on any commissions though. I was planning on having that all done this year so I could start new commissions next year. So we'll see, maybe. There's still time. There's still 2 whole months. And then my busy season's coming up with the holidays, so. Oh, God. I gotta get the book done. I gotta have that book done. It's killing me. All the rewards I gotta fulfill still. It's awful. I'd say it was a big mistake to do that Kickstarter for that book, but maybe when it's done I won't think so. I think we're gonna let this sit. Call it a night. I worked on it longer than I was planning to. It's starting to come together though. It's starting to get there. Alright, man. you could send me a link. Where do I see your stuff? If you want a full-on serious art critique, I offer that on my Patreon, like a one-on-one Skype every month for as long as you do it, where we talk about, you know, what I would recommend and help you achieve that. But I could look at your stuff if you send me a link and give you the quick version. Oh, cool. Glad he likes it. That's cool. I'm gonna get that thing on Netflix somehow. Oh, okay. I'll check it out and probably send you a message on there. That's cool, yeah. That was a long time ago. It depends. There's different levels of the Patreon. You can, if you want to get, you know, the lowest price you can pay is $1 a month, which is like, you know, nothing, $12 a year. And that just kind of gives you what I used to post on my Instagram, which is daily works in progress shots. And, you know, then I got like a $3 level and a $5 level. I think the $3 level is everything I'm working on, pictures plus time lapses. And then $5 is all that stuff plus pro tips. And then $10 is a monthly tutorial plus all that other stuff. And then $50 is for like the collector's level. And you get 20% ongoing discount on everything in my store and commissions and everything else. And then I do $100 a month mentorship tier. And it's, you know, you do it month to month. You could try it for $1, see if you like it, and cancel it if you don't. Or, you know, you could do the $10 level and then go through and check out all the tutorials. I got a bunch of like beginners painting, beginning oil painting for beginners, like everything you need to know to start painting in oils. And then I've got glazing tutorials and how I do skin textures and how I do, you know, making things look like they glow using color and value relationships. Value relationships. And yeah, so it's like you can kind of, I love Patreon. It's fucking awesome. I love it. It's amazing. You know, it's like people, if you're willing to pay $1, that means you're, the way I see it, it means you're like a serious enough fan to support what I'm doing with $1. And it's like, it makes all the difference. It's not a lot of money, but it's like, I don't know, there's no casual fans on there. It's like people who are on there are really into what I'm doing, and it's cool to be able to interact with them in a place that's not all toxic like Facebook or regular social media. It's like just, you know, talking just about the art, and I love it. Fucking absolutely love it. But anyway, you know, you can go on there at the $10 level if you want, and just check out all the tutorials I've done so far. And then if you can't afford to do it another month, you could just cancel or pause your membership, and then, you know, and then if you come into $10. You want to see the new stuff, you can do it for another, a month. It's like you can totally change it from month to month, which is cool, and it's really easy to do. So that's my pitch, and you can see right at the bottom of the screen, right there, that's the address, patreon.com/chetbar. Yeah, I just go on there really to for promoting sales and stuff. I've been trying to stay off there since I watched The Social Dilemma. I don't like that. It's not cool. That's another cool thing about Patreon is you don't have to worry about your data being sold, and there's no advertise. They don't have that same business model. It's not about selling ads for them. It's like people are subscribing directly to them, so you don't have to deal with any of that data mining nonsense and ads being fed to you, or people arguing. It's like people are willing to pay $1 are not gonna argue about stupid shit on there. It's like it's a totally different environment. It's great. So I recommend it. It's just hard to get people over there because they're not used to paying for content that they've been getting for free for like 10 years. But I still post on Instagram. I just do finished paintings, and I save all my all my current work and work in progress shots. That's all I save it for Patreon. And I found that people on Instagram like the finished paintings better because they're like more casual fans. So they just want to see a finished painting. They don't really care about the incremental changes I made, or Okay, I gotta stop working on this. Yeah, it's definitely better than when I started it tonight, so I'm feeling pretty good about it. Oh, cool, Evan. Yeah, that's the thing. I got so many time lapses on my Patreon, like 80 or something, and I just made a few of them public on YouTube. They're all hosted on YouTube, but they're all unlisted, and you have to get to them through the Patreon. So, I made a few of them public so that people could see what I'm doing on my Patreon. So if you want to see like 80 time lapses, like everything I've been doing the last 3 years, I time lapsed it. It's really crazy. There's so many time lapses. It's like you could spend days on there looking at them. So again, you could join that's at the $3 level. So you could join at the $3 level, and just check out all the time lapses. And then if you don't like it or you can't afford it, you could just pause your membership. Anyway, I'll stop pitching it. Is there anything in particular that gave you the direction of carrying those heavy lines from the eyes? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. These, I don't know where that came from, to be honest. I don't remember when I first did it, and I have no idea. But I keep doing it because I like it for some reason. I'm not sure. I bet you I could probably trace it back to something if I thought about it, but I don't know. Thank you. Yeah, it's just something I kept doing. That's sort of how I think that's kind of how you develop a style, is you just, find things that no one else is doing or that you don't see a lot, and then you keep developing those things and keep doing them. I've always being able to watch live streams like this on Patreon. Well, I'm going to do at the $10 a month level. Um, uh, you would get all of the live streaming, like every time I'm streaming, and plus the monthly tutorial, which I'm going to start doing as a live stream. So I'm going to do like a 3-hour live stream, how to do this, how to do that. Whereas before I would, film it and edit it together in that way. Yeah, thanks, Alex. Alex, good talking to you. But, at the, I'm going to do once or a couple times a month for all levels, for the $1 level. And then maybe once a month, like a free one, just a public one on YouTube, just to try and get people to Patreon. So, I would say the $3 level is going to be more live streams than the $1 level, but the $10 level is going to get all of that plus my tutorials, and I got a shitload of tutorials on there, how I make my frames step by step and all kinds of stuff. So just go and check it out. It's got like a description of all the different levels, and like I said, it's like you can, you could be a dollar person, you could be a $10 person, or you could be a $50 person, get your 20% discount on something you want in my store, and then at the next month just go back down to $1 or cancel or whatever. So it's totally, easy to do. Well, it's taken me 20 years to learn how to paint like I'm painting now. But, my first batch of what are, I think, pretty much as good as the stuff I'm doing now, was in 2005. So it was like, I spent 5 years teaching myself to paint, but before I could really, I think, make a painting, a solid painting. But I had a background in makeup effects, so I was sculpting for like 20 years or 15 years at that point. Sculpting every day, painting creatures, so I had like color theory. I knew how to make this stuff, I just didn't know how to work at oils. And I did Photoshop designs and lots of drawing, so it's been my whole life I've been making artwork. So, but it takes time, it takes a lot of time, but it's about how much effort you put in. I've seen people do amazing things in just a few years because they were just completely nose to the grindstone, painting every day and trying to get better and better, just practicing. It's all about practice more than anything. As far as Alex, as far as the content, it's like, I have so much content out there now that I don't feel as bad about if I have to take like a week where I can't post, but that's like kind of a lot. Oh yeah, if you're 17 and you start now, no problem. Just put the time in. I wish I started painting when I was 17. I didn't start painting until I was 33. So you're so young. If you're into this, get started now and you'll be a fucking master painter when you're, probably if you work hard and you're, and if you work hard and you've got some natural ability, by the time you're in your, mid-20s, you'll be a great painter. Yeah, it was huge. It was huge leg up, just having all that art background. Patreon, keeping up with Patreon content. It's not, if I'm not, if I don't have a live stream or a time lapse done or my tutorial, it's like I mostly post every day when I've got stuff going on, and it's like, I'll post a picture of whatever I'm working on. I just posted yeah, you gotta paint a ton of shitty paintings before you get something you're happy with. It's just the way it goes. Takes time. Takes time. I mean, when I was 17, I was fully like trying to teach myself to sculpt and get in the. Actually, I got in the film industry when I was about 17, so I was able to kind of start learning on the job and work my way up the ladder there. And then when you're, being paid to learn, it's pretty great. But about the Patreon content, Alex, like I'll post whatever I'm working on at the very least, unless I have like a hell week and I end up kind of fucking my whole life up for a week, like recently happened with a big deadline I had. Even then though, I posted pictures of what I was working on. But like I'm working on the book and I'm doing layouts of Photoshop and for the dystopia book, and I post pictures of those in progress, so people on the Patreon are seeing the book, what the book's going to look like before anybody else and stuff. So I just post whatever I'm working on that's art related, even if it's just a picture or a couple pictures of what's going on. But it's sort of like almost like a mailing list, an email list in a way, but better, because it's kind of like real time. No, I don't use polymer clay. I use Chavant, which is an oil-based clay, because I sculpt with Chavant, and then I make silicone molds and cast stuff in resin. Yeah, I mean, it's about balance for sure, but I found that most people on Patreon. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's gotta be fair. But I find that most people on Patreon are there. Like if I have a week where I can't post or something, people are totally cool with it. And most people on there, or at least a good chunk of them, are on there just because they want to support my artwork. They want me to keep doing what I'm doing. So it's really cool. I had people join up that don't even go on the Patreon. They just want to give me money every month just to support. It's fucking amazing. But I do this, actually I do the same thing. I know a lot of artists on Patreon, so I'm subscribed to like a ton of people on there. People that I know, artists that I know, and artists I think are doing amazing work, just because I believe in the platform so much. So it's like I pay like $160 a month in subscribing to people's Patreons. So it's like that gets taken out of my Patreon money right away. But you gotta support the platform you believe in. Yeah, I was doing 3D for a few years there. I got really into it, but I got into painting after I never went back. Yeah, I mean, you don't need a kiln to sculpt. If I don't use a kiln, I use oil-based clay. I just heat it up. You can use monster clay is good too. Heat it up in the microwave and it never dries out. It's like a waxy clay, and then you can. Yeah, exactly. It's easy to blow, but I want to support. I want to support people on there. I think it's the future for artists. Patreon. So I like encouraging every artist I know to go on there, because it's a way that we can do our thing and not have to worry about taking too many commissions on, or yeah, you put monster clay in the microwave to heat up. No, you heat it up in the microwave, but you don't put it in a kiln because it'll melt it. It's not that kind of clay. It's like a clay that you mold in silicone, and then you do resin casts out of. Anyway, I was saying, I think it's the future for artists. The trick, if you're an artist, is yeah, I do commissions. That's the other thing. It's like everybody on Patreon gets the first chance to buy my stuff. You know, so when I do studies and stuff, I post them on to my collector level first. They get the first shot, and then all the lower levels get second opportunity to buy for my studies or new paintings and stuff, and then it goes to like regular social media if anything's left. Like my pins, I had a pin release, or the tool posters, all that stuff was through Patreon. I said no, you can't cure monster clay in a microwave. I'm saying you put it in the microwave to warm it up and soften it so you can work with it, and then you make a mold of it when you're done. But if you're an artist and you're interested in starting a Patreon, the trick is you have to build your following up on regular social media first, and then you have to try and get them over there, because it's hard to get people over there, because it took me a year before I even considered it and joined it myself, because it's just like a new concept for people, although it's getting more acceptable now. So I would recommend, if you're an artist and you're thinking about it, build a solid following up first, and then float the idea with them. Hey, if anybody's would you be interested in supporting a Patreon, and then kind of take the temperature of the crowd and see if they're into it, because a lot of people yeah, you should, even if it's only for $1. It's like I'm telling you, it's way cool on there. I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, but you gotta. It's not a discovery platform. Yeah, they say specifically they're not a discovery platform. Like, it's even hard to search for people on there. It's like a hosting platform. It's like you have to they tell you right out the gate, you got to bring the people there. You bring your people there, and so that's why it's great and doesn't have any advertising or data mining or any of that stuff, because they don't have to worry about that. Yeah, YouTube. That's what I should have done. I should have done my YouTube channel first and then got people to go to my Patreon. That's what I should have done. But I didn't. So now I'm doing like coming on Patreon sometimes and showing some of what I do on Patreon to try and get people over there. I keep working on this thing. Yeah, there's no politics at all. It's not like regular social media. It's like people are there to pay to see the artwork, and that's all it's about. It's great. It's like you get just what you want. It's just like, I don't know if you've seen The Social Dilemma, but they say it's like there is no such thing as free social media. You pay one way or another. You either pay like through a Patreon with money, or you pay with your attention and your data, so, and many people would argue that it's a much more of a high cost when you're paying with your personal information and getting shit sold to you. And then yeah, and no, people not. It's like I was saying. It's just like if someone's gonna pay $1, they're not gonna go and troll you, and they're not gonna troll other people on there because it's like a smaller community. I only have like 350 people on my Patreon, so it's like everyone kind of knows each other. It's way more intimate, and it's not like social media. It's like the good parts of social media without all the bad stuff. And we could talk, people ask me questions, I respond to them. It's like, Patreon is my first priority for sure. And there's a bunch of great artists on there, and it's an excellent place to learn too. There's a lot of like people doing, just showing how they do amazing shit. It's a whole thing. I'm way into it. Yeah, it's like $1 a month is like an asshole filter. You don't get assholes on your page for $1 a month. It's amazing. My Patreon, yeah, that's my first priority. I mean, it's my people that are paying me monthly are my first priority for sure. Yeah, it's the best. That's what it's all about. It's getting that feeling to where you're just in the zone and that meditative space. Well, I mean, the people, people that are willing to throw down at least $1 a month, they're going to get my time and my attention, and I'm going to show them all my stuff first before anybody else, and I'm going to offer them deals first because, that's the fair thing to do. I appreciate them. I want, it means a lot that people are willing to do that, so I'm going to give them back as much as I can. It's just like people they can't get over the idea of having to pay for something they're so used to getting for free, but it's like, it's $12 a year. It's nothing. It's like, for almost everybody, $12 a year is nothing. It's just like this mental thing people have to get over, and it's a new platform, and it seems like hard to try and learn how to use it, but, it's the way. Do dreams? Not really. As far as my paintings, no, not really. I don't have cool dreams. I mean, I have cool dreams, but not cool monster dreams. If I have dreams about monsters, it's like they look like fake. Yeah, they're tears. There's the you can the lowest one is $1 a month, and then there's $1, there's $3, there's $5, there's $10, there's $50, and $100, and you get like $100 you get a mentorship with me and a monthly Skype and my cell number, and you text me progress on what you're working on through the month. I'm teaching a kid to sculpt right now, is doing that. And then $1 you get just like kind of what my social media feed used to be, which is just whatever pictures of whatever I'm working on. And $3 you get that plus time lapses, and then more and more. And then $10 is like honestly the best level for what you get, because it's the student level where you get all my tutorials plus everything below it, all the time lapses, all the streams, all live streams. And then like the next level up is that $50 one, which is for art collectors, because you get 20% off of like paintings I'm working on or anything on my web shop. So that's more for like people that are really into collecting art. But the $10 level is where it's at. um, but you know, like at any level, people ask me questions on Patreon. I'll answer them. You know, people have questions about anything within like the posts, but the mentorship is focused. It's like, okay, what do you need? You know, show me your work. I'll tell you what I think you need to do to get better, and then you know, I kind of give assignments, and people work on it, and it's been pretty amazing. There's been some pretty amazing results. I mean, it surprised me even how much people have. I've seen people grow in this mentorship thing, but I only do like 10 of them at a time. I don't do that many because I don't have the time. Yeah, my dreams are weird, totally weird like that too. Uh, yeah, I totally have like it's. I think it's stuff that scared me when I was a kid. Is why like I remember I had this one dream where there was a monster, and the monster was like, it looked like something in a fun house, like a cheap fun house that was kind of like covered with crepe paper, and it looked just stupid. And it had like dried, crusty mustard all over it. It looked like this big, like a bell or something, a bell, like a giant bell. It was a really dumb looking monster, but it was walking around and going up the walls and the ceiling. So it was definitely fucked up and extremely disturbing, but it wasn't like, it wouldn't make a good painting, or it wasn't creepy in the way that my paintings are at all. So, yeah, I don't really get my ideas from dreams, to be honest. It's like I get my ideas through the process of painting them, really. Like if you yeah, right. Like if you, I've got if you go on the page if you join the Patreon, you could see these early stream tests I did. Like, I painted this from a totally different painting. I've done like 5 of these sessions. It looked completely different when I started, and so the character developed during the painting. You know, I didn't have this. I didn't start off at all painting this guy. I painted. It was a totally different character, and I wasn't digging it, so I kept changing it, and then it turned into this guy. So that's sort of kind of where I get my ideas. I just sort of start with a basic shape and just keep going from there. Yeah, I don't. You know, the melatonin seems to make me not remember my dreams as much. I have like the craziest dreams I have are when I take naps, or if yeah, exactly. They're not. It's like they're not aesthetically pleasing. That's a good way to put it. Or if my sleep schedule's messed up and I pull an all-nighter, and then I get up early and then I go back to sleep, I'll have really weird lucid dreaming, like crazy like out of body experiences and stuff. Oh my god, that's so weird. God, that's full of symbolism, isn't it? Yeah, that's like sounds like sexual awakening of a kid or something, or the fear of sexuality from a kid. It's hilarious. I've got recurring dreams. Oh my god, that is freaky. My recurring dreams are, I have recurring zombie dreams sometimes, really scary ones. And but the main one is like I get an old house, well, you think Dolly Parton, you know, she's known for having these really giant breasts, and she's blonde, and the Barbie doll, which is kind of like this idealized version of a female, and a pink radio, which is very feminine, and it's something about, obviously it's something about females, but that's hilarious. Anyway, I don't remember what I was saying now. Oh, my recurring dream is I am, like, I have a big, huge house. Like, I buy an old mansion, and it's full of all kinds of these treasures, like old antiques with boxes with all kinds of stuff in it, and it's really exciting. It's like, uh, oh my god, that's funny. Um, anyway, it's like I have these dreams where we get a new house, and I have all kinds of space, and I keep in the dream I'm all excited. Oh, I got so much space for my art, because it's like I'm in this bedroom right now. It's tiny, so I'm always dreaming of having a big open studio with lots of space. So that's a recurring dream I have. That's hilarious. Domino's Pizza, Private Army. That's crazy. Alright, I gotta stop, you guys. I keep painting. I probably could finish this thing tonight, but I gotta stop. You know, I used to go to therapy in the '90s, and my therapist said that, because I was having those dreams even back then. She was saying that it sounds like when you have those dreams, it's like you're discovering new parts of yourself. So I think it's a good sign to have those dreams. I had a crazy. I'll leave. Tell you one more thing before I go. I had the other day, my sleep schedule got messed up with this last deadline, and I had the most intense lucid dream of my life. I got up early, just like I was saying. Went back to sleep like 3 in the afternoon because I couldn't take it. I had to go back to sleep, and I was in the dream. There was all kinds of people around, which a lot of times in my dreams I'm in, like, just there's people everywhere, like out on the street and just hanging out. It's really strange. And so in the dream, I was in this little room. I remember it was all kind of pinks and reds, like kind of reddish. And there was a person in there, a friend of mine, and I was talking to them. And cool. Thank you. Yeah, get on the Patreon if you can. Just try it out, just for $1. It's great, I'm telling you. But listen to this dream. It's crazy. So in the dream, I was talking to a friend of mine, and in the dream, I woke up, like I realized it was a dream, and I was like, oh my God, this is a dream. And I went over to tell this person I was talking to. I said, you realize this isn't real, don't you? Or don't you realize this isn't real? This is a dream. And as soon as I said that, this person morphed into this little doll with, like, and no soul. It was like just this doll, like a plastic doll. And they weren't there anymore. And it was like, I was like, this is. It's like you wake up to the reality that you're in, because in a dream it's all you. Everything in a dream is you. It's your mind. So every person in the dream is you. And so as soon as I realized that, I was totally conscious, like I am now, but in a dream. And I was going, oh shit, okay, I can do anything now. So of course I started flying, and then I started walking on the walls and doing all this crazy stuff. And and I kept thinking, you know, okay, I can't get lost back in the dream. I can't get lost back in the dream. If I forget about the, if I start believing in the dream, I'm gonna forget that I'm dreaming, and I'm gonna go back into the regular dream. And so, um, so you have to like stay in this meditative, like totally in the moment, so that you don't fall back into the dream. And then I went to go tell somebody else, hey, this is a dream. I went to go tell them, and then that made me go back into the dream and forget. While I was telling them that this is a dream, I fell back into the dream state and forgot that, you know, it was so weird, and it felt, and it was like, you know, this is what enlightenment is in regular life, is when you wake up to the illusion of reality and you realize that, you know, you're not a character in this reality. You are the reality, in the same way that you are a character. You're not a character in your dream. You're the entire dream. It's all happening in your mind. So it was insane. It was like a major. I woke up and I was like, I felt like I had tripped. I totally felt like I had tripped and had this enlightenment experience. Hey, what's up, Adrian? I'm just leaving, so you'll have to watch the replay, I guess. Okay, I gotta go now. That was my dream story, and I gotta go to bed. So, thanks everybody for hanging out. Could be, but I think it's really, they're all aspects of yourself. Yeah, it was good hanging out and chatting. Seriously, yeah, check out the Patreon. It's patreon.com/ChetZar, and it's not about the dollar. It's more like, you know, it'll be cool to be able to chat with y'all again and hang out on here. So hopefully I'll see you. And you know, I would make this stream just free all the time for everybody, but it's not really fair to the people on the Patreon. So I have to kind of like, you know, I can't do. I gotta, you know what I'm saying. I gotta keep it fair for everybody. So, well, Adrian, I have to go, so you can see, but you can watch. You know, you can watch it tomorrow. The stream will stay up. So. Right on, Alex. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. It was fun. So the next one I do is going to be kind of like, this is the last test stream I'm doing. The next one's going to be scheduled on Patreon. People are going to know when it's going to happen. And I'll have something special planned. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. Good hanging out. Have a good night.